So we're going to go through the solutions from last week's FMTT on ratio and proportion. So first one, write the ratio of the number of red pens to the number of black pens to start off. There are 28 red pens to 84 black pens. That in itself will be 1 mark. Then it says give your ratio in its simplest form. So we need to divide each side by the same thing. First of all, I can tell they're even, so I can divide them each by 2 as my start point. That gives me 14 to 42. It's still even, so I can divide them by 2 again. If I do that, I get 7 to 21, and then I recognize 7 and 21 are both multiples of 7, so I can divide each side by 7. Gives me an answer of 1 to 3. If I ever end up with 1 at any point here, I know that is as simple as I can get. 1 to 3 is my final answer, worth 2 marks. For question 2, 8 identical pens cost £12. Work out the cost of 10 of these pens. Well, first of all, I can work out what 1 pen costs. I could do 12. The cost is 12 pens. 8. To get to 1, we can divide it by 8. 8 divided by 8 is my 1. 12 divided by 8, £1.50. You might need to use bus stop method to do that, non-calculator. If 1 pen is £1.50, then to get up to 10, I'd multiply it by 10. That gives me 10 pens is £15 as my answer. Instead of going 8 to 1 to 10, I could have gone 8 to 2 to 10, divide by 4. That would have then given me 12 divided by 4, 2 pens is £3, and then times by 5 again to get me to 15. Both ways, absolutely fine. The second way needs a bit more thinking of how you're getting there, but the calculations are easier. The one on the left, you end up with a decimal, but it's a bit more straightforward in working out the cost of 1. For question 3, we've got the ratio is 5 to 2, so I'm going to draw a bar diagram. 5 to 2, so 5 boxes for cakes, 2 boxes for scones, and the cafe has sold 80 scones, so we know that this end bit is 80. Well, one of those boxes, I'd do 80 divided by 2, so one of those boxes is 40. So if one box is 40, every one of those boxes is 40. We have 5 boxes for cakes, so we'd want to do 5 times 40, tells us that our answer for the number of cakes is 200. 2 marks there. 1 mark for working out that it's 40 for each one. But one part is 40, and then the second mark for getting the answer of 200. Then question 4, we've got a few bits to do here. First thing, we've got the ratio of the number of fictions to the number of non-fictions is 3 to 1. So I'm going to start off by drawing my bar diagram so that I can see that visibly. Having that bar diagram drawn out, so the number of fiction is 3 parts, number of non-fiction is 1 part. All together, here's a whole bar, 80 books. Well, I've got 4 parts, so I'd want to do 80 divided by 4. That tells me that 1 part is 20. So my non-fiction, that's 20. My fiction books, I've got 3 lots of those, so 3 times 20 tells me there's 60 fiction books. The fiction books sold at normal price of £10. So fiction, I've got £10 times by 60, I get £600. For the non-fiction, they're at half price. So instead of £10, they're 10 divided by 2, which is £5 each. There were 20 of them, so 5 times 20 is £100. And so the total amount is £700. That's 600 plus the 100 to get the total of 700. You get 1 mark for dealing with the ratio at the start, 2nd mark for working out the money from the non-fiction, the 3rd mark for the correct steps to get the fiction and non-fiction totals, and then the final mark, 4 marks, comes from getting 700. There you go.